Hello, it is good to have you back with me here in the workshop of Wood Spun Round. This is Doug, and like I said, it is so good to have you. It's been raining here in Kentucky, and there is fungus growing everywhere. Actually, I've had several calls, for several requests for more mushrooms in the stores that I sell in. So we're going to turn a little fungus today, get a little mushroom action going on. Got an old piece of walnut here. This is a piece that was laying around outside for quite a while. I brought it in and it's dried out now. But one end of it particularly has just a load of cracks, and you'll see those cracks come into play just before we move on to the next one. But we're starting out with start off with a spindle roughing gouge to get it rounded from end to end, and now we're using a spindle gouge. We'll also use a parting tool throughout on all these mushrooms a bit. But here I've already done the top and I'm starting to dig in, get the stem taken care of. That, I don't know why. It's not really hard, but it just seems like a hard task for me to do. So I have to work at it and just kind of nibble away, getting down underneath the cap of the mushroom. And one of the interesting things to me is that mushrooms don't have a set size, shape, ratio. It's just kind of haphazard in nature. And so that's kind of the idea I take with turning these mushrooms as well. I don't measure anything, just what fits my eye at the moment. So the cap is done, getting the stem, and once it begins to take shape and I can kind of see what I've got, it becomes much easier. So here we're just kind of shaping the bottom. I want to leave a big enough base that it'll stand on its own without any trouble. Doesn't get very tippy. Just getting rid of some of the waste wood there at the very bottom so that I can part or finish shaping and sanding and get the end parted off. You can see on the top end, I've got it down real small. There's just a small nub there between the mushroom cap and the life center. Here I'm parting at the base. And right about here, there, had that one little piece go, and then a big piece went. That's where those cracks were coming into play. Kind of crazy. So I parted it just a little more, and then that was the end of that. Sanded the rest of it. Moved on here to a piece of poplar. Another little small log piece, a little branch piece that I had. And this one had a little protrusion out on the bottom end of it. It was at the base, I guess, where the limb went into the trunk or even a larger part of the branch. So anyway, we got that knocked down. Moved on like before from the spindle roughing gouge to just a spindle gouge. It's a half-inch spindle gouge. Does a really good job. I've got it sharpened very much like my bowl gouge, and then take the heel away. Haven't quite got the profile that I want ultimately, but it's getting closer. Every time I sharpen, I get it just a little closer. Just getting the top of the mushroom cap turned, and I'm gonna curl this back in just a little bit at the bottom of the cap, at least to start off with. It seems like in fact there I've kind of straightened that out even. Got the stem started. This poplar is typically it's not a bad wood to turn. This particular piece, just a little strange. It had some strange little knots and whatnot inside of it. just places where it didn't want to cut real smooth and clean, it comes out in the end just fine. There's no problem whatsoever. Just gave me a little bit of a hard time. But here all I'm doing is just giving a nice sweeping curve from what will be the widest spot of the stem up to the bottom of the cap. When I get through shaping the stem, I'll take one of the small Easy Wood tool finishers and I'll get up underneath that cap and hollow it out just a little bit, not tons. I don't get real erratic with it, but I do that after I finish the stem. There you can kind of see I'm just curving the base of that stem so that it will sit very nice, whether it's on a table or a shelf, wherever it might be. There's that Easy Wood tool getting up underneath there, and that's a finisher. It's a round carbide bit, and I'm just using it to hollow out the underside of that cap. All right, this is a piece of white cedar fence post. You saw there how it's not round at all. There's no bark on it. This was a fence post out on a farm for many, many years. Had barbed wire stapled to it. Barbed wire had been taken down or had come out, one of the two. The owner decided to pull up the fence post. Thought they might be used by somebody. I got hold of, I don't know, one or two of them. I've used a good bit of this stuff. Here I've got another piece here. We're gonna see what we can do about a real irregular mushroom. This white cedar is pretty soft wood. In fact, it tried to come off that drive center one time. I had to stop and put it back, not a problem. And you see here I'm starting to get it shaped up. Still using that spindle roughing gouge. Got the primary shape done. But you can see there, it's not going to be totally round. Even in the shadows there, you can see where the light wood and the dark exposed part are still there. Using my spindle gouge to kind of finalize the shape of the cap, at least the very top of it. And I've got to decide how much smoother we're going to make this and how long to make that cap. So you can see how long I made it. A little longer than the other two were. Again, using the spindle gouge to shape the stem. Going to round off the base here a bit on the bottom and the top of that base. This seems to work well for me to round the bottom of the base, and then I can round the top of the base part into the stem and make it all kind of a cohesive composition there. There we go. Just a little bit of cleaning up. Then got that one done and decided let's do one more. And I grabbed up, I had a piece of just regular eastern red cedar. Some would call it juniper, and that's fine. You saw I had the lathe in reverse there. I had been sanding and forgot to put it back in forward. All of these mushrooms did get sanded from 80 up to 220, 240, I guess. You know, I don't show that. The vacuum is loud when I do that sanding. I think I showed just a little bit with this particular cedar one, but same principle. Start with the spindle roughing gouge, and then when I get it pretty well round and the way I want it, we'll get started with the spindle roughing gouge, but then we'll go to just a regular spindle gouge. There it is. As you dig in past that outer sapwood, you can see that very red or pink, whatever color you want to call that, the red part of the cedar. And it's right about here where that cedar smell really began to come out and fill the shop. Just nibbling down that nub at the very top as I approach the center. I don't want to lose that nub right now. That's kind of, well, that gives me all the stability, keeps the piece pressed up against the drive center. I've got my large 2-prong drive center in the chuck. That's what I've been using for all of these mushrooms. Just taking my time here. This wood is very soft. I've used my parting tool there I used my parting tool to define the bottom of the cap as well as the bottom of the mushroom as a whole. Going back to my spindle roughing gouge just to do some of the rough turning that, just to get some of it started for that stem. This is by far the largest diameter as well as height. Just removing some of the bulk wood there. This tool seems to do a good job of removing some bulk wood when I need it to. Starting to round over the bottom of the stem. That's one place I made what I would consider probably one mistake of the 4. I didn't get the base of the stem on this one quite small enough. It would have suited my eye a little better, I think, if it was just a little bit smaller than what I ended up with. But it's okay. It's okay. Somebody will love it. In fact, I would not be surprised out of this 4 if this isn't the very first one that sells. Going back to the spindle gouge here, just beginning to work that stem down. Made the decision right there to make this stem just a little different from the others. If you look through a collection of mushroom pictures, quite often you'll see this little wide spot in the middle of the stem. I've never seen anything to tell me why that's there, but it's on a lot of mushrooms, it seems to be like, and so I'm going to leave this one having this little like a bird beak right in the center of the stem. Other than that, it's the same procedure. I'll work underneath that cap, hollow it out a bit. I'll round the bottom, make sure I don't have any ridges there, and the whole thing will be sanded top to bottom from 80 to 240. Once all of these are, once they've been turned, sanded, to completion, I will oil them all, and I'll show you a picture at the very end of these mushrooms with the walnut oil on all of them. Again, the Easy Wood tool, just cleaning out up underneath that cap. And here are the 4 mushrooms. Got the white cedar, the walnut, the poplar, and the red cedar. Not bad for about 1 hour and 10 minutes worth of work. So I thank you all for being with me. This is Doug at Wood Spun Round. Until we're able to be together again, I hope you're able to spin them around.